And then one more from Brandon Vincent. Thank you again for donating. Your Brandon Vincent's question was, what does Cam Akers' injury mean for the Los Angeles Rams season? We haven't talked about this yet, so this is actually, I guess, a good way to get into the topic. But I'll have you go first, Vish, because I think we'll have different answers for this one.
Okay, is it an end-all be-all? No. Was it a massive impact? Yes. I'm someone who believed that Cam Akers was going to be in the conversation for one of the 6 or 7 best running backs in the NFL by the end of this year. I love the end of his rookie season. I think he's a terrific I thought he was a terrific runner, great contact balance, powerful, better speed and burst than people give him credit for, good receiver. And I thought, like, honestly, when I looked at the Rams offense, obviously everybody knows how I feel about Matthew Stafford. Everybody, like, I love Matthew Stafford. And I think McVay's a hell of a coach. I was excited for the fact that I thought the Rams were going to be able to get back to running the football, something that they've been very inconsistent with doing since Todd Gurley, CJ Henderson in that playoff run. And so I think it's going to affect them a bit. I think Darrell Henderson is a good backup running back. I think he would be okay as a starter, definitely not as good as Akers. So it's definitely going to affect them.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for their season's prospects? Well, we'll see, because honestly, to be fair, and even though I had these thoughts on what their offense could be like, we didn't get to see what the plan was in terms of how their offense was going to look. We don't know how much of a focal point Akers was, though I personally am assuming he was a large focal point.
Yeah.
I don't think we can say that, oh, this changes. Like, they can't win the Super Bowl now without Akers. He's not Aaron Donald or Matthew Stafford or Jalen Ramsey. But I do think it's a big loss. I thought he was going to really become a hell of a player this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we made a video saying how good we think Cam Akers is going to be. We both agreed on that. But my thing is this: Henderson played good enough to where you're confident with him going out there. We've seen in the past. Do you remember when Todd Gurley was having one of his great seasons? He got injured. It was during the Super Bowl run in 2018. They signed C.J. Anderson off the street, and in 5 games, he had 500 yards.
Yeah, he ran all over my Niners.
He did. C.J. Henderson off of the streets. I know how good running backs can be. I've seen Adrian Peterson kill my team. I've seen other guys run all over my team. I saw Raheem Mostert drop 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook. All I'll say is this: they are going to miss Cam Akers, but the bottom line is just you don't need a running back to go far. And you mentioned it. If they were to lose Darnold, or not Darnold, Donald, and even when he was injured against the Packers, he wasn't very effective. If they lost Ramsey, Stafford, I would even argue someone like Woods or Kupp could be of more value to them just because of what they do. Um, I still think they can go far. Now, yeah, they're gonna miss him because Henderson might not be as good as he is, and I don't think he is. I don't think he's as big and as strong, and maybe he can't run in between the tackles. But listen, there is a lot of good. I wouldn't say good, but serviceable running backs that are still on the open market. Maybe Todd Gurley wants to come back for a reunion. Adrian Peterson is still there and still runs as hard as he possibly can. And I still think he'll do that for the next 3 years because he seems to be ageless. But there's a ton of other running backs too, and I know they drafted his last name's Funk in the 7th round, which is pretty cool. And they have another guy who's I think first or second year who might have been undrafted, or they drafted him on a later round. So I'm not really that worried about the running back position. I think McVay would be fine with a running back by committee. They kind of had that last year. They didn't have it with Gurley, but Gurley also looked and had one of the greatest stretches ever for any running back. So I'm not frankly too concerned. Yeah, it is tough because I mean Cam Akers is special, and I really do think he could have had a breakout year compared to how he's viewed by the national media. But I still think they can go far, and their offense will hurt, but it'll still be a good unit because they have Stafford, they have McVay, they have a good receiving core, solid enough O-line.
Yeah, I ultimately agree with the conclusion too. Like, I think it is a loss, right? Just because you and I both, again, thought that Akers would be in the conversation for like the 6 or 7 or 8 best running
Yeah.
backs in the NFL. Like we thought very highly of Akers. You can go see our channel. There's 2 or 3 videos where we talk about how much of a star he's going to, in our opinion, he was going to be. But I'm with the conclusion that, like, yeah, it affects them. It's not changing who they're going to be in terms of their
Mhm.
prospects this season. Like, if they're going to be a Super Bowl team, they will be a Super Bowl team with or without Cam Akers, right? Like,
Yeah,
if
like
they don't make the Super Bowl,
he's not
yeah,
gonna be the difference between them, missing
missing
the
and making the
playoffs and
playoffs.
them playing in February, right?
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, I do think it comes down to it being a bummer because their offense has the potential to be a top 5 unit this year. And with him, I think those chances are a lot better. Now, if they're the 5th best unit or 5th highest scoring versus the 9th, like that's a marginal difference at the end of the day, right? So it's a bummer. That's undoubtedly. But that is a good question, Brandon.
Yeah,
And thanks for, I guess, getting Vish and I to talk about it because I don't think we were. 'Cause it's been a couple days, I believe.
yeah. I actually saw this news, but for whatever reason, I forgot to say, like, we should talk about it. So thanks for
Yeah.
asking the question. Otherwise, we'd have forgotten.
Hmm.